Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
You still haven't given up on me.
Never.
Trauma or superpower? In this video, I'm going to show you how to alchemize any trauma you've been through and turn it into a masculine superpower. Right, G's, welcome back to Tyson's Alchemy. Now, I had a question from Young G that asked me to discuss trauma and how to deal with it. And the truth is that all of us in some way, maybe some more than others, will go through difficult times, traumatic times, whether it's in your childhood or adulthood. At some point, life's gonna come along and give you a proper good punch to the dick. It's promised, but again, some more severe than others. Now, the interesting thing about trauma is that there seems to be a connection between trauma and developing strength and gifts. You've seen the hero's journey, you've watched the Superman films, the Batman films. Batman loses his parents, and it's through that trauma that it inspires him to train and become a vigilante to battle the evils of Gotham. It's the classic tale of the hero. He has to go through that origin story, that traumatic ordeal, or something has to happen, something has to force a change. There's something quite unique about trauma, but it does seem to be needed to be viewed a certain way or used a certain way. So obviously on this channel I talk a lot about alchemy. Alchemy is turning lead into gold, which in terms of trauma, this means to use what you went through and actually use that ingredients and turn it into something useful. This is what I've done. My story is literally, I've created Tyson's self-hypnosis course. I teach self-hypnosis because my family and everyone around me was dealing with depression. They all struggle, they can't control their mind, and I had to watch a lot of this around me. I had to watch the people I love suffer. So I've taken my traumas, and obviously there's lots of other ones that I'm not going to share, don't need to bring you down with, but I've been through my fair share of traumas, let's say. But one of them being, I watched everyone around me just have their mind sucked out all the time. And when I discovered that I had the ability to manipulate my own emotions and my own thoughts through media, that's how my self-hypnosis journey began. So I have alchemized my pain and turned it into my journey. And it's now my strength. I now teach others. People pay me to teach them how to level up their mind. So you've maybe been through a trauma already, maybe more than one, maybe multiple. First off, doesn't matter what it is, everyone's going through different types of trauma. It's not about what it is, how bad it was. We don't need to rank each other's traumas against each other. Let's just assume it was awful, it was a terrible time for you. How can you alchemize that and turn it into something useful? Because obviously people will tell you, just go to therapy, you've got traumatic issues, you need to work out, you need to talk out. That's fair enough, you go try therapy. But for me, it's about how can I use it and turn it into something useful. And like I said, not only the heroes in the stories, but if you notice successful men in business, and there's always something that happens, a traumatic ordeal, or even talented athletes. At some point there was a massive struggle happening. Something made them chase greatness even harder. Something difficult maybe broke them and turned them into something new, a butterfly, a metamorphosis. Your trauma, it can break you if you allow it, but sometimes that breaking of you is just you breaking off and becoming something more. Should you allow that to happen? Should you allow it to alchemize into something great? So how do I deal with trauma? My biggest tip for how I dealt with some of my biggest traumas, especially as I was growing older, so you're probably a young man watching this. Trauma is stored in the body, right? You've got these chakras and energy sections of the body. I'm not going to go into that right now, but basically if you don't find a way to get it out, because it's all energy has to move, and if you try and keep hold of energy and keep it in, which is your emotional energy as well, say it's like a beam of light and you keep it, you hide it away because you don't want to face it, it ruminates inside you and can cause issues. Now it sounds a little bit woohoo, but basically what I'm gonna say is you need to move it. You need to move the energy, you need to get moving. So obviously the way I do it is obviously working out, gym and football, hobbies, sparring, taekwondo. I move my body a lot. One of your heroes, Mr. Tate, for example, he believes that you should work out every day. It's the first thing he does. He wakes up, he works out, he does some sparring, does some weights. Well, there's no doubt in my mind that he has been through some difficult times in his younger days. He spoke about them every now and again. His ability to just get up and get moving straight away allows, or actually removes the chance of any trapped energy staying still. It doesn't allow energy to stay still. So you can use that as well. That's what I do. When I've been through a difficult time, a few years ago I went through a very difficult time, and even though though the emotion was difficult and the trauma was traumatic, I still knew that I had to keep moving forward. I was dragging the trauma with me because it's attached to you like a weight. But the more I moved forward, the more I could pick that weight up, and then it becomes a superpower because I've got the momentum now. I've picked this heavy big boulder up, but now I'm swinging it because I've built momentum and it's swinging, and now I can throw it into a direction. It'll carry me. It becomes my strength. It takes me further along. It no longer drags me down and feels like an emotional drain. I've now used it and headed into a certain direction. So you need to learn to use your trauma, reframe it. It can become your superpower. There's also a scientific link between trauma and creativity. So people like Van Gogh, for example, he went through a lot of difficulty and he is now regarded as one of the most artistic, creative people to have ever lived. There seems to be a direct link between creativity and trauma, and even the elites, I'm not going to go too deep into it on this, but even the elites know this. They have rituals where they will purposely put a person through traumatic events to allow them to be more creative, to get in touch with some type of divine realm of creativity, which I've spoken about before. I get downloads. Now that's what it feels like. I don't even think of ideas, they just come to me because I believe I've been through enough traumas to activate that level of creativity. That's how it works for me. I'll just walk out the door, go walk the dog, and boom, idea. And those ideas, should I do the work and act on them, turn into gold. 9 times out of 10, I just get an idea. Where's that come from? Right, let me put it down in my notes, boom, turns into gold. Made some money from it, or made someone's life better with it. So there does seem to be a link between trauma and gifts, trauma, creativity, trauma and strength. So whatever you're going through, just know that should you be strong enough to keep going, which you are, I'm telling you you are, should you find a way to move forward with it, it will become something you look back on and think, wow, that really made me stronger. Always difficult in the moment, I know that, I'm not trying to be unrealistic, but your traumas will shape you and make you stronger. The only way they don't is if you feel sorry for yourself, and that's the worst thing you can do as a man, is feel sorry for yourself. You're gonna go through difficult times. You can have a blip, you can have a moment where you feel the emotion. Obviously you can't turn your emotions off, but then get moving, get into action, get using it. So like I said, tip number 1 is to alchemize it, move it through. Start that beginning session is lead, you want to get it to gold. How do you get it from lead to gold? You start to move. So you want to begin that process of alchemy. So whether it's in the gym and you're hitting the punching bags and you're using your anger, you have a dark energy in you now. It's a traumatic energy, but you can use that. I've spoke about in the past about using music. I have a playlist called The Dark Side. So when I feel like that darker energy is around me, maybe I'm going through something difficult, maybe I'm reminded of something difficult I've been through, I will lock in and use that energy. It doesn't take over me and ruin my plans and my consistency and my discipline. I allow it to be used by me for my goals. So I'll listen to my dark side playlist, which has more darker energy, and I will go to the gym, or I will go on a run, or I will get some work done. I will listen to it and I will feel like an angry beast that's getting it done, that nothing can stop me. I'm using it to my advantage. So obviously the second tip is to reframe. No matter what you're going through, you need to reframe everything. You are the writer of your story and you get to say what happens. So yes, you've been through something difficult, but write the next part of the story. How do you spin that into something great? How do you alchemize it and turn it into your winning triumph? Always think about, what did the trauma teach me? What did it give me? What power did it give me? If you were betrayed by someone, then it taught you about loyalty. If you lost something or something failed, you've been taught grit. You've been taught the art of not giving up. You can do this with anything. You can do this right now. Think of a negative memory that you have. Definitely have one. Just think of one that's in your head, you're like, oh, that's negative, and go reframe it right now. Pause the video and think what I went through, what it was, and how can I reframe it? What did it actually teach me? I did actually get something from that. As difficult as it was, something came of it. It always does. And if you haven't been able to find the thing that you've got from the trauma, then you're clearly not doing the work. And in the occult circles, they call this the great work. This is the great work that they must do. They go through the alchemical journey and they get to a point called the abyss. And that abyss is where you face your demons, your trauma, your difficulties, your shadow self. And you can't get to the next part of enlightenment without going through it. And that's the occult circles, all the elites, right? But you're just a young G trying to become your best self. And it's the same process, the same story, the same archetypes. You must go through that dark night of the soul, that difficulty period. But if you keep going, you come out the other end, you come out stronger, you level up. So my last tip on dealing with trauma is to create something from it. So like I said before, I've created the art of self-hypnosis. I've created this channel. This all actually stems from pain I've had as a younger person. My Amigo network business, where it's all about luxury and making money, that stems from being a poor brokey and having nothing when I was younger and having to deal with scraps and eat the same meal every day. That stems from that pain, and now I want to live the good life, and now I get to walk in circles with people that are living the good life, and I've been able to do that. But yes, it takes action. I recognize the pain and then I do something about it. I can't just think about the pain and wallow in it and think, oh, woe is me. That's not how you deal with pain, G's. You need to learn that everything in your life can be reframed. It's all about perception. It's all about how you use it. Doesn't mean things aren't going to be difficult. Life as a man is incredibly difficult, but you can still use it to your advantage. And the greatest men, the men you admire, they do that. They know that. And the elites at the very top, in fact, they try and inflict pain on purpose. If you hear anyone of wealth and success talking about pain and how it's a good thing, trust me, they know. And I know for a fact Mr. Top G also knows about this, because he's always talking about pain. He knows this esoteric secret that pain and trauma unlocks the doors. It's a weird, twisted fate of the world, but it's true. If you want more in this life, you want to open up a bigger reality for yourself and open up new doors, pain is actually the answer. You don't need to stab yourself or cause physical harm, but you do need to push the boundaries of your mind. So life will kick you in the dick, and you will experience trauma. You're guaranteed, you probably have already, but there's more coming, so get ready for it. Be your best self so you're ready for it. But just know, when those difficult times come, you can deal with it, and it will become your superpower if you allow it. If you walk through that alchemical journey, if you go from lead to gold, you will see how much it's benefited you. So turn your trauma into power. Your trauma is your superpower. Remember, G's, self-hypnosis is the key.